The Genius Club with Prairie Pine. Chapter 81. In the dead of night. The house was quiet, with only the faint snoring of Big Face Cat's young son as he slept. There was no other sound. Alex tiptoed downstairs, taking great care not to make any noise. Big Face Cat was indeed hiding something from him. He himself had admitted as much. But he planned to take Alex to meet the boss tomorrow and let him join the plan. Yet, tomorrow was something Alex simply couldn't wait for. While they were eating earlier, he had checked the calendar in the house, and today was still August 28, 2624. This meant that even though he hadn't seen the world-destroying white light at 042 yesterday, the world was most likely still destroyed by that white light. The loop continued. The dream remained. Only the world had changed its appearance. Tap, dot. Tap, dot. Yellowing. Alex walked through the living room on tiptoe. Because Big Face Cat's young son was quite naughty, the house was cluttered with many things. Fortunately, sister-in-law was hard-working and capable. She had cleaned and tidied the room neatly before going to bed. Unfortunately, though, the house was so small and cramped that no amount of tidying could change that. Finally, Alex inched his way to the front door. Squeak! The door creaked open loudly, making Alex's nerves tense. He turned his head to look. Luckily, there was no movement from the inner room. He hadn't woken sister-in-law or the children. Alex carefully locked the door. He had no intention of coming back, just in case a thief broke in. Turning around, he walked down the rough and winding path, having no idea which direction to go or where to head. The self-built houses here were so cluttered that they made him feel uncomfortable all over. Looking left and right, his vision was completely blocked by the tall and short houses. Wonder he hadn't seen New East City, several kilometers away, or the towering black buildings there during the day. Living here for a long time would really make people depressed and sick, Alex muttered. He couldn't tell east from west, and he couldn't see the moon when he looked up, so he just picked a random direction and wandered aimlessly. Gradually, he arrived at the small market where Big Face Cat had bought the roast chicken. It was just as crowded, completely unfit for vehicles to pass through. According to Big Face Cat's description, all the world's resources, even things like knowledge, history, and technology, were controlled by those people in New East City. Alex still couldn't figure out what state the world was in, what its structure was, or what its rules were. Anyway, with his current thinking, he couldn't understand how this distorted mode of development had come about. Clearly, the two places were only a few kilometers apart. But in reality, the distance between New East Sea and Old East Sea was probably much farther than the distance from Earth to the moon. In Big Face Cat's words, they look at each other like aliens, and there was even no possibility of any material exchange. We can't even pick up the garbage they throw away. Big Face Cat had said that. Alex didn't know if it was an angry exaggeration or the truth. After wandering around for a long time, he gained nothing. Alex was starting to want to give up. On second thought, even if he turned this backward and poor small village upside down, what could he gain? Big Face Cat had said there were no history books here, not even history itself. The children couldn't learn real knowledge, and generations lived in ignorance. Even someone as powerful as Big Face Cat's father, a former Fields Medal mathematician, was only a primary school math teacher in this dream. Forget it, I'm done wandering. I'm getting dizzy from being lost. Alex decided it was better to stop exploring aimlessly. There were currently two direct paths ahead. First, fall asleep early tomorrow to find Big Face Cat's father, ask him about the introduction to cosmic constants, and figure out what the phrase he kept muttering meant. Alex had a hunch. Cat Dad's research results should be the reason the Genius Club killed him, and perhaps the secret the club feared. Second, find a way to enter New East Sea City, surrounded by high walls, and find history books and records there to understand why the future world had developed into this state. Although Big Face Cat had said there was no way to enter New East Sea City, but who was he? In this infinitely looping dream, Alex didn't think there was anywhere he couldn't go. At most, he would have to die a few more times. Heave-ho! Alex casually grabbed the top of a wall, pressed his feet against it, pushed hard, and jumped to the higher stone wall opposite. He grabbed the bricks with both hands and did another flip. Thud. He landed safely on the second-floor platform of a house, then sprinted and jumped long to the third-floor balcony of the next neighbor. He tapped his foot, jumped again, grabbed hold, and flipped onto the third-floor roof. That feels good. Standing high up, his vision was wide open. He no longer had to squeeze on the narrow paths below. He looked up at the strange full moon hanging in the sky. It had drifted directly above his field of vision, and the black hand shadow with an outstretched index finger on the moon's surface loomed over the city, making people shudder. Big Face Cat, his children, and even everyone in this world wouldn't feel this strange feeling when facing such a moon, because they had long been used to it. The moon had been like this since they were born. It had even been like this since their great-grandfathers were born. The cognition of generations had been changed this way, then deeply rooted. In their cognition, the moon should have always been like this. But Alex was from 600 years ago. He had seen the real moon. What exactly was that black hand shadow? Was it a grand building running through the north and south poles of the moon? Or was it a light shielding, light absorbing, or diffuse reflection material? In any case, there was something on the moon that created such a work of art. Unfortunately, to fully understand this problem, he would have to go to New East Sea City to find history books and materials. But it really is art. Evaluating this moon from the perspective of an art student and a creator, it could only be described as exquisite beyond compare. Because of the tidal locking between the Earth and the moon's rotation period was the same as its orbital period. That is to say, the moon always faced the Earth with its front side, and humans could never observe the far side of the moon from Earth. This meant that the Genius Club's emblem could rise on time every night, always gazing at the mortal Earth from a positive angle. Year after year, it waxed and waned with the moon, never absent. No other celestial body could do this, only the tidally locked moon. Alex turned his head again to look at the magnificent sci-fi city with bright lights. New East Sea City. Even though it was already midnight, New East Sea City was like an ever-bright city, still as busy and bright as ever. Didn't the people there need to sleep? Didn't the people there need to rest? What kind of life did they live? What kind of life did they have? Immortality? Eternal youth? Or, like described in games and movies, had they replaced their bodies with prosthetics? Or even become fully mechanized? Alex had no idea. I have to go in and take a look sooner or later. He raised his wrist and looked at his watch. Euro 41:41. If all the rules here were the same as in the first dream, then there were only 19 seconds left before this dream ended. A white light that burned the world would appear on time, destroying everything, and he would open his eyes in bed. But now, human technology had developed to such a sci-fi level. Could it be that they were still completely unaware of this destructive blow and had no precautions at all? Alex looked up at the endlessly prosperous new EC city. Everything was as usual. He looked down at his watch. 0:41:57, 0:41:58, 0:41:59, dull.